Hi, and welcome to Pat Bear's Anime Club. In this episode, we're going to take a look at some tools that I use in order to find out about new anime, upcoming shows, find out when they're coming out, keep track of what I'm watching, various website tools that help. And we'll take a quick look at a site you may not have heard of. You may know these other ones, but you may not know this one. If you're trying to find an older anime, or if you ever wonder, hey, is that show streaming anywhere? This will help you out. Sit back, relax, and enjoy this. We're going to cut to a different view, and we're going to look at some websites. Cool, cool, cool. Okay, so here we go. Now, in looking at shows that I want to watch in the summer 2000, the season we're currently in right now, one of the things you do is you go to the websites that you watch things on. So I'm going to go to Crunchyroll, which is what we're looking at here, and we'll look at Funimation as well. And they often either have bulleted playlist thing somewhere here, like some link to a web article, either a blog form or in its own web page, and it's going to say like, hey, this is what's coming out. So we're looking at Crunchyroll right now. This is what they're saying about this season. So they start with their like new season picks. These are the things they're like, hey, check these out. Like these are things we think are going to be good. In this case, that also it has been updated with the returns of some ongoing shows, which is very particular for this season. I'll talk about that a lot about how well, it is very rare for shows to just stop production and then resume production. A show here and there may take a week off, but it's rare for shows to just stop. So this is a unique time for that. Anyway, so we're here in Crunchyroll, which I watch a lot of shows on. So they're going to say like, hey, you want to check out, you want to check out God of High School, you want to check out ReZero, Rent a Girlfriend, and it's saying, hey, this is when it airs. Now, I should be very clear about this. If this was a couple weeks ago, if this was the end of June when I recorded this, it would not say those things. It would not tell you when the show is airing and at what time PDT you could check it out. It would not include that information because Crunchyroll often doesn't. They tell you about the shows that they have. They don't tell you ahead of time, and it comes out today. You have to know. Or what ends up happening is you go to the calendar to see what's coming out, and you look from yesterday, the day before, and you're like, oh, Ninja Collection came out yesterday. Huh. I didn't know when that was coming out. That's just an example. I don't think Ninja Collection's good, but it did come out, and I did not notice. So they're not great about that. Now that the shows are out, they're telling you, oh, okay, Wednesday, 7 a.m., or debuts on this date. They may say the date sometimes, some shows, but not all of them. So they give you some information. We got some new simulcasts. These are new shows or a new season of a show, and it tells you when they come out and when you can check them out. And occasionally gives you a little bit of information about it. They do an okay job. It's odd that they included the OAD in this, but it did come out on July 8th, so okay. But yeah, Ninja Collection, as I mentioned, doesn't give you lengths like I didn't know. I knew from another source, not from Crunchyroll. Ninja Collection is 5 minutes long. This is also a short. They're not telling you necessarily. It does say bite-sized anime shorts. It does tell you that, but you don't know that there's one show that I don't even think got listed in here. Yeah, it didn't even get listed in this. Is Peter Grill whatever is like a 12-minute length episodes. Yeah, I don't think that gets listed here. So they don't even list all the shows they have, which is weird. And then yeah, the ongoings and then continuings. This is the returning spring titles. This is a new thing, obviously. Food Wars. I'm recording this on a Saturday. Food Wars just came back yesterday, so it's the 18th today, Saturday the 18th when I'm recording this. Food Wars just came back last night with a new episode because they restarted the season, the beginning of it. So it's like, hey, these are back. They were happening and now they're back, and then continuing simulcasts and telling you that. And I do like they break things up somewhat. I think that's helpful. So that's Crunchyroll. Now over on Funimation, there's a blog post here. Sometimes they have more information. I actually couldn't find that like, here's the summer preview, like own webpage thing. So I ended up in their blog section, um, which is still fine. Uh, it's just in a blog format, and so it's mentioning shows. It'll say like, oh yeah, this thing's coming back. Uh, but it's resuming. So at the July 30th, the end of the month, you can watch episode 5 because they had stopped after certain episodes. It mentions where it's available, which is helpful, when it's coming back, which is helpful. It doesn't really give you the time in this format, but that's okay. And then talks about its partner, where else you can watch it, because in certain countries you have to have Anime Lab to watch that. Um, Here's the thing. So a lot of times stuff on Funimation is also on Hulu, and I used to use Hulu, but sometimes now it's on Funimation and Anilabs, Anilab, which is not a U.S. thing. So it turned out Hulu wasn't. It was better to just have Funimation than Hulu. That's just the thing I found. Um, if you want to know a show coming out on Hulu, you just have to go to Hulu and click on New Anime and hope that they updated it. But for preview coverage, if you want to know ahead of time, Hulu will not tell you ahead of time what it's getting as far as anime. They do a very bad job of that. You're going to go to another website to find out if it's coming to Hulu, which we'll get to. But yeah, you can scroll down, see some shows, get some information about it. I guess I like, oh, this looks cool. This is a pretty fun show. Just going to let you know. Uzaki-chan wants to hang out. I'm 2 episodes in. I like it. It's not for everyone, but I do think it's fun. Um, but yeah, it tells you where you can get it, where you can watch it. Goes through the shows. It goes. They're pretty good. This is coming back. We can say here. So July 28th, you're going to see episode 4 because they are re-airing the first 3 episodes in Japan, instead of just starting up again with episode 4. So it is back in rerun form, but of course those episodes already exist on Funimation. So yeah, so they're doing that stuff. They're talking about this Decadence. Episode 2, real weird of Decadence. Second episode changed a lot of what I was thinking this show was about, and I don't know if that's good or not, but it's interesting because it's an original anime. It's not based on anything, so nobody knows the secrets because they can't read the manga because there is no manga. And oh yeah, Porta is returning. Sword Art Online, Alicization, War of the Underworld Part 2 is coming, or has come back. Black Clover. They're behind on Black Clover, I believe. And then also, Funimation does dubs. I'm not interested in dubs, so I'm not really looking at that. So you'll be asking, okay, well, Pat, is there a better way of finding out about new shows and when they air? And, what days they air in Japan, maybe? Because maybe if you don't know the simulcast stuff, you don't know where it's going to think, but if you know when it's going to air in Japan, then you can know when it's going to be available for simulcast. And if people have picked it up, is there anything you can do? And the answer is yes. You want to go to AnyChart. Now, I'll be listing all of the websites that I mentioned here in the show description, so you can go to the show description and check that out. It's anychart.net, anichart.net. I've logged in with AnyList in order to, and it's also my anime list is connected. I logged in, created an account to settings because I want to see the name Monster Girl Doctor instead of the Japanese name. I want to see the English, if there is a name for localization and for the subtitles, I want to see that localized name because that's what I'm going to be finding on these websites. So that's what I would prefer. Whereas other people may say the full name, I want to call it God of High School. I think that actually is what it's called, but I want to call it Monster Girl Doctor. I want to call it uh, Muyo and Roji's Bureau of Supernatural Investigation Season 2. I don't watch that show. I didn't watch Season 1. But anyway, so this is telling you right now, it is telling you when the next episode is, and then if you scroll over, it tells you where you can stream it. So yeah, you can, that's Verve and that's Crunchyroll. Same thing here. This is Funimation and Anime Labs. So like yeah, so this tells you where things are at, where you can stream them, and yeah, and what's going on. Hulu, okay, so Decadence you can watch this on Hulu if you want, so that's good. Um, and gives you some information about it. Pulls from my anime list if I remember correctly, and that is great for finding out new shows. Now, of course, this is the summer season, so it's giving you the countdown to the next episodes. Because as of right now, every time we're recording, a new episode of Misfit of Demon Academy, which I have not watched yet. So this lists the full title, which is based on, I guess, the light novel. On Crunchyroll, it just says The Misfit of Demon King Academy. It doesn't say History's Strongest Demon King reincarnates and goes to school with his descendants, which is just the plot of it. Um, but yeah, it tells you where you can watch it, the website, the Twitch for it, or Twitter for it, I should say, its website, that kind of stuff, some categories, the trailer if you want to watch that. But yeah, it's telling you that. So let's look at the fall season. So we just started, it's July. We just started the fall season, or the spring, we just started the summer season. So there isn't a lot of details about the fall season yet. But eventually, you're going to start seeing trailers on Funimation. You're going to see trailers on Crunchyroll about the shows they've got. And as that happens, folks will update here. So right now, you're rarely going to see anything about that. You're rarely going to see what's going on here, where they're going to end up. But you can see some shows if there's descriptions, because especially if they're based on a manga or a video game, you'll see some descriptions about what this is about. If it has an English name, like By the Grace of the Gods, okay, well, there's going to say By the Grace of the Gods, because there's been a trailer, we know what that is. Dropout Idol Fruit Tart, which, I mean, that just looks like, one, just like the main character in anime, and two, very much looks like a character from Laid Back Camp. So I'm like, oh, what's this? And then I'll read it and say, Dropout Idol Fruit Tart follows a group of show business dropouts. Rookie idol Sakura Ino, promising newcomer Midori Hemo, former child actor Sekino Roka, former model Machara Nina, and former musician Nikui Haru, who all live in a dormitory together. But when it's revealed that the dorm is set to be demolished, manager Kazuo Hono has a plan to start a new idol group. I'm not super into idol stuff, but I do like slice of life, and that seems interesting. So that's a thing that what I end up doing is I have a Google Doc of shows I'm interested in. I'll put the name of shows that I'm interested in and kind of track it that way. And then I will come back and take a look again and see, oh, well, the trailer showed up on Crunchyroll, or the trailer showed up on Funimation, or no one has shown the trailer. So this is a show that you just can't watch because no one picked it up, which happens. One thing you can do is you can also add it to your watch list, your watching list, and then you can check that, so you can track that. Now, what I do is I have a Google Doc for ongoing, the stuff that's airing right now, what show, when it airs, what the day it airs generally instead of the hour. I don't usually watch the premieres because I'm busy. But what day it aired and what streaming service I use. That's also important because sometimes some shows obviously are only on one, some are on two. I prefer Crunchyroll's player in browser because that's generally where I watch stuff is in browser. So I'm watching Fire Force Season 2, which is available subtitled both on Funimation and Crunchyroll. I prefer to watch it on Crunchyroll. That's just me. I don't necessarily like the Funimation player. So I prefer that. Now I don't like the latest version of the queue for Crunchyroll, but just watching videos, definitely preferred. But yeah, so this is going to tell you what's going on there. And I was talking about how I have a spreadsheet, right? I could use watching, I could use the charts. Any chart is going to be good for that. I could do that if I wanted to. But how do I see, like, well, what's airing the next couple days and when? Well, that's if you click up here to airing right here, just click the airing button, which I already have as a tab, so I'm going to open that up there. I'm just going to click that. This is the airing. It gives you the day before, which is great. This is what aired yesterday, in case you missed it. So yeah, you see episode 2 of Peter Grill and the Philosopher's whatever, and you can say like, oh, add that to my watch list. It's not giving you the detailed information. It's just giving you the episode title or the episode number, the show title, and the time. So Food Wars Fifth Plate aired a new episode because they only had 2 before they went on hiatus because they started late in the spring season, a couple weeks late. So they only got 2 in. So you're like, cool. And you can see like Cooking with the Valkyries 2. I don't know what that is. I've never seen that anywhere. I don't think that that is airing anywhere. So I click on that. It's going to open a new tab and going to give you. It was O&A, so original, and it was just a video that aired. And you're like, okay, it was just one video. It was a prequel. Oh no, the prequel was an O&A. Okay, I don't know, whatever. Uh, but yeah, you can scroll here. It's going to give you information, and it's going to tell you official sites, streaming links. This is where it would say Crunchyroll or Funimation. It did not because no one has picked this up. I should also say that, which is very cool, but not necessarily helpful for me personally. Andy Chart also lists Chinese animation, which is awesome because I don't know anyone else that tracks that information for an English audience. Now, these shows typically, almost exclusively, do not air. Occasionally, some Tencent properties, because Tencent has stuff in everything, have put out their own English translations on YouTube. Um, but especially because a lot of Chinese animation studios are working on the CG you find in your action-oriented anime. So if you're watching Gibate, uh, you're going to see the monster design is probably done in a Chinese company. Or Eight Sun, Are You Kidding Me? The dragons that showed up in that. That's a Chinese company, a production house. Um, so yeah, so that's kind of interesting. So you can see like, oh, hey, airing next. This is from where we're at. This is what's airing next. Like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, Saizai-san, episode 2566 is airing at 5:30 a.m. Uh, that's not a thing that I'm like super into. There's no English translation of that, but it's kind of cool to keep up with that. But you can see some stuff, and maybe you're like, oh, I didn't know this was coming back, but it's coming back on this date because you can scroll ahead, basically a whole week, um, and plan your anime viewing around that. If you want to watch Decadence as it comes out, plan ahead. So that's helpful. I just want to point out Ed Carr because no, I don't know anybody that it's not airing here. Nobody, I don't know what Ed Carr. It's a kids program, but it's not here. But it's called Egg Car, and that's just a good name. It's a good name. Um, and yeah, so turns out AniChart very helpful, very very helpful. Um, and again, with Hulu, Hulu is going to show you a bunch of things, and maybe they'll be helpful, and maybe they won't be helpful. But they're not they're they're of the U.S. because it's U.S. focused. They're the least helpful about what's coming out. Mostly, you want to keep track of Funimation and then see if it's also going to be on Hulu. It's kind of the best thing you can do. Um, but I mean, maybe personally, look, if you use Hulu for television stuff, non-anime stuff, then sure, it might be fine. But if you're just using Hulu for anime, just do Funimation. Because there are a bunch of stuff that doesn't show up on Hulu now. It used to, but doesn't. And also, you're paying for Funimation and you don't see ads. You're paying for Hulu, you see ads. Okay. That's my rant about Hulu. We'll let that go. And then, because.moe. It's a thing I didn't learn about until pretty recently, sometime last year. Now, this is not for upcoming things. This is for older stuff or stuff you've been thinking about in your head. You can search the U.S., Canada, the United Kingdom, and Australia for things, and it is an online anime search tool. It's a search engine. So if you want to type in Sailor, forgot the S there, Sailor, Sailor Moon Crystal, available on Crunchyroll and Verve Crunchyroll. or Sailor or the movie. Can't watch the original anywhere. That but it'll tell you where things are and how to watch them. Book Skullface Bookseller Honda-san, Crunchyroll and Funimation. Let's see. Let me think about one that will appear on Funimation and Hulu after School Dice Club. After School Dice Club. It's telling me Funimation. It's not telling me Hulu. It is on Hulu, but it's telling me Funimation. And then I click it. It's going to open up a new tab. It's going to go to that show page. Took a second to load there. Shows up here. After School Dice Club. It's not a perfect system, but it works really well to find what you're looking for. If you're like thinking about old anime, like you're like, I want to watch Gundam Wing. Where do I watch Gundam Wing? Gundam Wing Endless Waltz, Mobile Suit Gundam Wing. That's where you can find it. But if you're like, what about G Gundam? Great. What about Gundam X? Can't find it because it was never officially licensed. Obviously, this doesn't include stuff you can find illegally. I'm only talking about legal stuff. Um, if you want to find things that are streaming, if you were like, oh, I want to find the stuff that's on Amazon Prime because that was on Annie Strike, and I want to find an OVA for a show that didn't get released. You can find those things. If you want to watch fan subs of the two Yu Hakusho OVAs that came out as part of a Blu-ray collection, you can find those. There are websites. I'm not going to tell you those websites. I'll only tell you these websites. But I hope that was helpful. Anyway, now cut to me giving a wrap up. Okay, and that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you very much for hanging out with me, and I hope you learned a little bit maybe, or if there are websites that you use in order to track your anime or find out about new stuff, please let me know in the comments below, and that would be helpful because I'm always looking for new stuff. I just found out about because.moe like last year, and I was like, oh, this is such a great tool. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you'd like to see me do in the future episodes of Pat Baer's Anime Club. If there's a topic or you want to hear, what do you want to hear? Let me know. I could have said that better, and I didn't. Anyway, enjoy it. Enjoy the new anime that's going on right now. My last episode, if you missed it, I did preview some stuff that I can't wait to come back. One of which is coming back, the other don't know yet, and shows that I'm excited about. And turns out I'm pretty excited about a bunch of shows that are part of this season. So yeah, it's 2020 is a weird year, and it's been a weird year for some anime. But I hope you enjoy what you're watching, or just pick up an old favorite. Hey, start that One Piece rewatch or watch because it's over 1,000 episodes. So it's an investment. I'll see you in the next Pat Bear's Anime Club. Goodbye.